You know, people are not victims of bullying. The reason I know that is that we as martial artists are never victims of a weaker person. So in this Friday's Bully Defense Seminar, students will learn to take the power out of the bully's insults. And in my mind, the label, hey, this person was a victim of bullying, or I was a victim of bullying at work or at school, just suggests that the recipient of harm is not responsible for his own response to the offender or to the offense. And also in my mind, to be biblically accurate, a victim of bullying is only a victim of his or her own learned weak mindset and learned naive responses. Listen, it's our job to train ourselves up and the people around us, and it's all training. And our victim thinking will also weaken us and pollute the people around us. It's just time for us to stop blaming the bully for our weak learned responses to them. Just remember, holding on to blame is just like drinking poison and then waiting for the other person to die or to go away. You know, you are in fact damaging yourself and other people. Hi, Professor Pittman here, and this Friday at 4:30, our Academy is going to present to the Lubbock community this new program that I designed called Back to School Bully Defense Seminar. And it's my wife and I and staff's job with this Bully Defense Seminar to pour into our students and give them every resource that we can to help them mitigate their life, to be the best person they can be, and handle this challenge wisely when it comes down their pipeline. You know, when someone bullies you, I want you to understand that that can be handled wisely, and I want to be a teacher to you for that. So we're going to be putting arrows into your quivers, and we're going to be talking about, when we talk about bullying, we're going to be talking about boy-to-boy bullying, girl-to-girl bullying, boy-to-girl bullying, girl-to-boy bullying. You know, what's interesting is that one of the things that I've noticed from teaching martial arts here in Lubbock for 23 years is that most people think it's someone else's job to take care of the problem, like it's someone else's job to take care of the bully. You know, we're all aware of the dangers that children face with bullying, both inside and outside the school. That's going to happen also when they grow up and get to work. When it comes to bullying, just fortunately most of us have all been touched by bullying, either personally or through the terrible experience of a friend or a loved one, and everyone's on a different page. And most victims of bullying will tell you that the worst part of being bullied is the feeling of helplessness that they experienced during and after the experience, and they had a feeling that, hey, there's nothing I could do, and also I don't think I know what to do when this happens again. So we're going to show students exactly what you can do, both internally and externally in this lesson, and we're going to be sharing with you guys, or the students, the realistic techniques and also the mentality behind those techniques that we teach here at the Pittman Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Like, for example, with the girls are going to be learning exactly what to think and exactly what to say if a guy asks them things like, now let's be real here, hey, what's the most provocative thing or provocative outfit you've ever worn? Or what's the worst thing you've ever done? Or tell me about your worst date, or tell me about your best date. You know, as a father of two precious daughters and a beautiful wife, I tell you what, the Pittmans are going to teach our family how to respond wisely and correctly to what's called predatory behavior. And in this seminar this Friday, we're going to arm you with this distinction, also arm you with stellar ways of handling it, not only with your words, but also stellar ways of handling it if this becomes physical. I hope you understand that. And this way, well, let me tell you this. What we're going to be doing exactly in this seminar is we're going to be creating these experiences in a safe environment to prepare you for the real world. You know, I just know that we got to practice the bad stuff to get better prepared for it. You know, like, for example, when you look at the military, from what I understand, when you look at their simulator training, their flight simulator training, it's not training for the perfect flight scenario, but what to do exactly when the airplane starts to go down. And that's what we're going to be doing this seminar this Friday. What to do when the plane's going down. Do you just say a prayer, or do you grab the controls like this and pull that yoke back exactly like this and then do that? I just mean to say that what you practice in a safe environment empowers you to do the things that need to be done in the real world actually when it's happening. So again, we're going to be creating these experiences in a safe environment to better prepare you, or to better provide to you the inside, the structure, the knowledge, know-how, and more importantly, the ability to pull it off and the willingness to respond in wisdom and to step up when someone says something bad to you, or they get physical with you in the real world when you're not so protected. You know, and things around you aren't so protective, that you can actually have a hand in personally, you know, handling it. You know, I got a friend of mine who wants to be a police officer, and this is paraphrasing here, but I think he failed the driving test twice, and I forget what it's called, but it's this test that demonstrates that he can actually, you know, check. He's actually prepared for a high-speed chase. And the training is really difficult. It's really challenging. And what's so interesting about the training is that the training is actually more difficult than the actual chasing of the bad guy. So that's an example of training that's provided in a safe environment to reduce the level of risk and personal injury and harm to others, to help prepare this police officer for the real world when no one's around, and he's the only one that's responsible for taking the next action to this challenge. So that when these kind of things do happen to you, you're properly amped up. So the drills that we do are going to be very similar to what the military and law enforcement agencies do to better prepare their people for the real world and real experiences. So I'm definitely in favor of the training that we're doing. You know, most people are just so interested in preserving their child's self-esteem that they do nothing but dismantle it because they don't give themselves or their children a chance to train in such a way that they can bolster or build their self-esteem and build their competency so they can have some confidence. You know, the only way that I know to build your self-esteem is not through the absence of challenges and hardship, but through the learned application of challenges and hardship through watching an example. You know, for example, I hear it all the time in my line of work. Well, I don't want my child to get pushed too hard, or I don't want him to take it too serious, or I don't want my child to experience rejection. Well, that's a surefire way for them to experience rejection and not, you know, grow the shoulders that we are supposed to be teaching them. So why don't we go ahead and get ahead of everything and get set up in a safe environment where these students can kind of feel the pinch of a boot when someone's not very fair with them using their words, or they're trying to be physically hurtful. And then we can teach them to respond responsibly. You know, our students are going to be able to take on this data and this information when it comes down their pipeline and not be defensive about it and just have a knee-jerk reaction, but they're going to learn to respond wisely and not react emotionally. Listen, I want our students to be prepared when someone says something disparaging or negative to them, that they can be in control of themselves and their own heart, and they can not have emotion trump logic. And that's what our students are going to be learning. That's what we're going to be providing for them. And they're going to be able to pride themselves in one simple dynamic. Listen, it's my job not to be offended. So students in this seminar are going to learn to respond when they hear things like, you know, I don't want to be your friend, or I don't want your help, or you're stupid, or hey, Four Eyes, you know, I heard this about your mama, and I heard this about your dad, and I don't like this and I don't like that, and you're never going to make it in life, and you're never going to win, you're not very good, you're not very funny, you're not very attractive, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too silly, you're too goofy, you're too whatever. Participants will not only be learning the mindset and learning great things they can do for their responses to those kind of things, because we all know it's coming, but we're also going to be teaching them how to measure the intent and measure the intentions of the other person, because intentions matter. So students will learn to understand this process, but more importantly, they're going to leave being able to apply these lessons immediately. And keep in mind that most parents and school teachers and principals that I've dealt with don't really know how to handle these kinds of challenges. They don't really know how to teach kids how to handle this stuff wisely. And that's why everyone's going to tell you something different as to, you know, this is the appropriate response, or this is the appropriate answer to bullying. Can't there just be one answer? I think there is one answer. And these are the same kind of people that have, who've never, how can I put this? These are the same kind of people who have not and cannot and do not know how to operate under this kind of pressure. In other words, they've never really been put to task and done it. And this is part of the seminar. You know, people are really going to enjoy it. You know, students are going to learn that, you know, you can take care of your emotions when pressured. You can take care of business wisely. And when people really understand this, and even kids get this, and they understand that this is what I'm to do and this is proper, listen, some good things are going to happen, because you can back most bullies off. You can back off most people with just your words. And students are also going to be learning to connect with their emotions properly during these times, gain their own voice, and be able to communicate during challenging times and be more confident. It's just such a valuable skill. You know, listen, when most people get nervous, they run in the wrong direction. When most people get nervous, the moment they feel any sense of, you know, sensation of awkwardness or uneasiness or nervousness, they just crumble on the inside and they run for the hills. And this is what makes this Friday's seminar such a powerful lesson. You know, the people who are most successful during a challenge is not that they have less doubt during the challenge than the people who aren't successful. It's that they know how to handle it correctly. They know how to handle what's going on inside of their own skin so they can get it going on outside of their skin. In other words, they're trained. And if someone's being rude or ill-tempered or mean to you or your kids or trying to make you feel bad, you have to learn to address that internally and externally. And we're going to be teaching students to sober themselves up so they can sober up other people and how they interact with them. This way, they can actually have a hand in knowing how they should treat their own heart and have a hand in training other people how to treat them. Because, well, we all know that we give people permission on how to treat us based on how we react or respond, and most people are just so ill prepared to interact appropriately when bullied and harassed. So it's my pleasure working with you today. Thank you so very much. I look forward to working with you next time. In the meantime, listen, keep the faith, keep working. God bless, and we're a phone call away.